scientific study of Vedas, creation of universe, starting from BRAHMAM, class 51. Today we are going through one story in Purana related with Sati. In this story, it starts with a person named Dakshan, and Sati is his daughter. So, before going deep into the story scientifically, it is necessary to know what is this Dakshan as per science. Again, there is another story in which there is two characters, HIMAVAN and Parvati. Parvati is the daughter of HIMAVAN. There is some relationship between these two because Sati was the wife of Rudra or Shiva, and due to some reason Sati sacrificed herself in the fire and she took rebirth as Parvati. So, in this, we are going through two characters in the Purana story, that is Dakshan Prajapati or Dakshan, and HIMAVAN. Let us first think about Daksha Prajapati or Dakshan. In the case of an atom, at the center there is the nucleus, and that is the driving force which resulted in the creation of atom and also all the things in the universe. So that driving force is that nucleus. That driving force is in the nucleus, and that driving force is called Rudra or Shiva. So, in the outermost orbit, there should be 8 electrons. 8 electrons is required. If there is less, maximum number of electrons in the outermost orbit is 8, and 8 is required. And atoms combine tries to get 8 electrons in the outermost shell, because in most of the atoms the number of electrons is less than 8. It cannot remain access, so it will combine with others to form compounds or molecules. So the outermost orbit is the thing which is taking part in the chemical reaction, and behind the creation of this universe, this outermost orbit is the most important one. And actually nucleus is not at all taking part in the, or Shiva or Rudra is not taking part in any such activity directly, and the outermost orbit is taking part, and its electron is taking part in the chemical reaction. Outermost means it is further away from the nucleus. So it may be taken at North Pole and South Pole, or the North and South, Uttarayana or Dakshinayana likewise. So Uttarayana is, or North is nucleus, and the further away this outermost orbit is that orbit is taken as Dakshinayana. From this we call the name Dakshan, Daksha Prajapati. In modern science, the outermost orbit is called valence orbit. So, actually, valence orbit is the Prajapati or the force acting in this outermost orbit. That outermost orbit is taking part in all types of reactions. That Daksha Prajapati or our valence orbits are responsible for taking part all reactions. And in the Daksha Prajapati there is Ashtadik Palaka, lots of 8 points, directions. They are also taking part in that. So, this Daksha Prajapati is the outermost orbit or the force acting on the outermost orbit to combine with others to make 8 electrons in the outermost orbit, that is in the valence orbit. So, valence orbit is Daksha Prajapati. But the number of electrons in revolving around this nucleus is different in different atoms. If there is 1 or 2 electrons only in the outer revolving around this nucleus, it may be in the first orbit. Here there is 2. If there is 1, it may be 1 only. These orbits are not there. In small atom, there may be 1 or 2 or 3 orbits. In bigger atoms, the outermost orbit is far away from this nucleus. So, depending on the size of the orbit, the valence orbit or Dakshan or the outermost orbit may be near to, if it is small atom, it is very near to this nucleus. In bigger atom, that outermost orbit is further away. But we know these electrons are holding by the nucleus, because nucleus is positive charge, the outermost electron is negative charge, and nucleus is attracting this electron due to opposite charge, and that is the reason why the electrons are remaining in the orbit. So, the ability of any electron to go away from the atom to combine with others depends on the strength of attraction between this nucleus and electron. If it is a small electron, the outermost orbit or valence orbit or Daksha orbit, Dakshan, is very near, and its electron is very near to the nucleus, so the attraction is very great, and to remove it from this electron, we should apply a very high force or energy, or to escape this atom, this electron should possess should get a huge amount of energy. If the size of the atom is big, so a number of electrons are revolving around the nucleus in different orbits, and the outermost orbit is far away. So, the force of attraction between this nucleus and electron is less, because it is far away. So, in such cases, that electron can easily escape if it gets some energy. A small energy is required to escape electron from that atom. So, depending on the size of the atom, Daksha Prajapati can also be renamed differently, because in the case of Sun, there are we are considering 12 suns, because the property of Sun in VEDA, At some places it is very hot. At some places the temperature is low. Likewise, depending on the distance, suns are treating as dual suns. Likewise, even though the Dakshan Prajapati is the outermost orbit or valence orbit, depending on the size of the atom, the attraction between the nucleus and the electron in the outermost orbit may be high or low. So in small cases, this Daksha orbit is very near to nucleus, so it is strongly bonded with the nucleus, so it can be taken as a part of the nucleus. So in that case, when the size of the atom is very small, number of orbit also is small, and the outermost orbit is very near to the nucleus, so the bond is very high. So in such cases, this name of this outermost orbit in such cases is presented in another way in Purana story, that is HIMAVAN. That orbit is called HIMAVAN because HIMAVAN means Himalaya mountain. If you take the top view of the Himalaya mountain, any mountain, it will be like this. Top view as per modern engineering drawing. This is the top point and this is the base on the ground of the mountain. It is like this. If you take a photo from above, there may be a boundary here, and at the top there may be a point. This is landing. In engineering drawing, we will represent the top view of HIMAVAN or a Himalaya mountain in this way. So this boundary is also a part of the mountain. The lower portion of that mountain, that is also circular, that may be treated at an orbit which is very near to this nucleus. So it is strong, it is one itself. Even though it is an orbit that is very near to the nucleus, and the force of attraction between the electron in the outermost orbit and the nucleus is very great. The atom is very small. So that is represented by another name. Such atoms, the outermost orbit, are represented by any name, another name, that is called HIMAVAN, like the top view of a mountain. Though the electron in this orbit is very much strongly bonded between nucleus and electron, so it cannot, in this orbit the electron cannot easily remove. So this is called HIMAVAN. Generally it is Dakshan itself. Dakshan means generally outermost orbit. This also is an outermost orbit, but in this case the electron is very much attached to the nucleus, so it gives another name called HIMAVAN. And in all other cases, in the bigger atom, the outermost orbit is called the Dakshan's orbit or valence orbit. And the electron in that orbit, that is Dakshan's orbit or a HIMAVAN's orbit, is taking part in the chemical reaction to form new things. So Dakshan is the outermost orbit or valence bond, and if the atom is very small, Due to the high attraction between nucleus and electrons in that orbit is named, a special name is given, that is HIMAVAN. Actually, it is DAKSHAN also. So, the outermost orbit is named as the Prajapati. That is in English, in science. In English, it is outermost orbit, and as per science, it is valence orbit. And the atom size of the atom is very small. Then the outermost orbit is called HIMAVAN. That is presented as HIMAVAN with another name, with another character name in some other stories, in Purana stories. Now, let us go to the story of Sati in the next class.